Guys, welcome to the very first Stackdeck After Hours. How are you doing, guys?
Woohoo!
Very good, very good.
Woo!
Very good, very good. Super excited for this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah?
Me too.
Yeah.
First time ever recording a podcast, so yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna be, but I'm very excited for it.
Cool, guys. Well, the main reason is that we're going to have fun and that we discuss everything related to SaaS, right? So that's the main goal of this podcast. So since this is the very first episode, maybe it's good to do an introduction. Nick, if I can give you the stage first, and then I'll give it to Oliver, and then as last, I'll introduce myself. So, Nick, please introduce yourself to the world.
Perfect. Same as Oliver. This is also my first podcast. Um, Pretty excited for it. Let me introduce you a little bit about myself. I'm 35 years old, born in the east side of Holland. I'm a Dutch boy. The last 5 years, I've been living in Indonesia, working as a freelance developer. Starting building my life there, have a dog there. Very excited because my dog is coming in 2 weeks to Holland. Really happy about it. I miss my dog. I love technical things, building SaaS platforms, own a few businesses, and now working for a little bit more than 1 year on this new amazing startup called Stackdeck.
Cool, man.
That's me.
Thanks for the introduction. Nick, can you tell me a little bit more about what you did before Stackdeck? Where did your professional career started, and how did you end up here? Just
I
briefly.
started working. Yeah, of course, of course. I started working together with Jurgen for Prodes. It's an internet agency in the Netherlands. Worked there for a few years, switched here and there to new companies, and then make the decision to take a leap of faith and start freelancing for myself. Did that for roughly 7 years. Different companies, mostly Dutch-based companies, but everything from all kinds of businesses. I worked for takeaway.com, in a, as the Dutch people say, thuisbezorgd. Worked a little while for booking.com. I think everybody knows that company. Amazing times. I worked there with pleasure and learned a lot there. After that, started working for Learning Heroes, a company in Utrecht. Cool platform. I love to work on your own product. So I don't like to work for customers, but I like to work for a product platform itself. That's where I find my love and I work the best.
Cool. Thank you for the introduction and welcome on the team, Nick.
Thanks.
Next up, Oliver. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We're very curious to know who you are.
Buongiorno. Yeah, so my name is Oliver. Born and raised in Maastricht, in the beautiful city Maastricht, down south in the Netherlands. Um, I would say one of the most beautiful cities of the Netherlands. And over there, I did the hotel management school as well. So I lived there for 22 years. I studied there as well. I loved the hotel management school. It was fully focused on hospitality, being there for your customers, for your guests in a hotel. And after that, I moved to Amsterdam, and that's where I've been living for a little over 4 years now, almost 4.5, enjoying it to the fullest. Um, I started working for a platform that was specialized in work for freelancers, and I started off at the customer support agent, and I loved that because I was again able to help out customers, but then not physically, but obviously through the platform. Um, but I always found myself a bit constrained. I was able to help out the customers one time, answer their questions, and that's it. But I had so many ideas in mind how I could actually help out the customers in a more permanent way. Like if we would switch this on the platform, then they wouldn't even need to come to customer support. And that's where my love for product management came into play, and that we actually solve customer problems that will not even that will actually fix the problem that they would need to come to customer support. And that's why I've been working as a product manager for over 1.5 year now. And it is my goal to become a product manager at Stackdeck as well, help out our customers, be there for them, really helping their problems. So yeah, that's it. In my free time, I like to cycle. I'm an avid cyclist. That's what I do. That's what I love. So yeah, that's it about me.
Cool. Thanks, Ollie. Thanks for introducing yourself. By the way, we call you Ollie, right? So for everybody's
Yeah,
watching,
yeah, exactly,
Ollie,
exactly.
Olivier, whatever. Okay, so far we have a tech guy and we have a product guy, right? So finally, I'll introduce myself. I consider myself to be a tech guy, but also an entrepreneur. So I started my entrepreneurial journey, I think 15, 16 years ago. Started an internet agency. That thing grew. At one point, I moved to Miami, and as Nick indicated, Nick was one of my employees there. Nick was my right hand man. Everybody loved Nick. The employees loved him, but also the clients very much liked to work with him. Um, I'm from Deventer. Ollie, you just mentioned that it's one of the most beautiful cities in the Netherlands, Maastricht, right? The most beautiful city, obviously, is Deventer. But our headquarters is in Amsterdam, and I think that's where we find common ground, right? Because we both very much love Amsterdam. And I think we also found that together with Nick, right? So the headquarters of Stackdeck will be in Amsterdam. My previous experience after my internet agency called Prodes, I sold the internet agency when I was living in Miami. Unfortunately, my father-in-law had an accident, and shortly after, we moved back to the Netherlands. I started working as a consultant, as a software consultant, and um, I started working at Just Eat Takeaway as well, just like Nick, and afterwards moved to a company called Temper. And I think that's also partly where the idea of Stack Deck comes from, right? So what we saw, Nick and I, what we saw in multiple companies that we have worked for, is that they have a complete lack of visibility of the SaaS landscape, right? So what kind of tools are they using? um, what are they spending on, who has access to what tools, what kind of on and offboard procedures do they have in place. Little insight, most of the time they don't have a on and offboard procedure, and that's actually where Stack Deck comes in. So I think that's the goal of Stack Deck. And this podcast, the idea of this podcast is to show the world what we can improve with our product, but also what's going on and what's happening in SaaS. um, so, Nick, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What do you think is one of the key features of StackDeck now that we're introducing the product to the world? What do you think is the perfect, unique selling point for StackDeck?
I think from our perspective, we are tech guys, right? So we know what's happening in the different companies. We see the issues there. And one of the things that you mentioned, of course, is like what SaaS apps are you using? But one of the one of the big issues within a company is also for employees is that they don't know where to get access. You see those endless Slack communications, emails back and forth with managers, co-workers. Hey guys, I want access to Slack. How do I get it? Hey guys, I want access to this database. Where do I find it? I think that's one of the biggest features in Stackdeck. One of the big features, of course. Um, yeah, I think that's a really important one. The thing that we see firsthand in our experience within companies. Second is discovery, like what apps are being used within the company. It's really useful for managers to see what's happening there, what subscriptions do we have, how much do we pay for subscriptions. That's really useful to know. And most of the companies, like you said, they don't know. If they know it, they will list it probably in an Excel sheet, and they miss half of the apps that they're using.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And how is that if they do not know what are they, what kind of tools they're using within their organization? How does that translate to, let's say, spend? Do they then know what kind of money they spend on those tools? Because a lack of visibility in the tools used is probably also a lack of visibility in spend, right? Is that correct?
100% sure. So if you don't know what you're paying for, you don't know that you're paying for it. So first of all, you forget about renewals. Most of the subscriptions you have are auto renewals. You will forget about those. You will pay for them even though you don't use it. Another thing that StackDeck offers is like insights, how much are employees using it. So if you have 100 seats and 90 seats are filled by users, doesn't mean that they all use it. They have access, they can use it, but they don't use it. So why use or occupy a seat if the user doesn't use it? Then why pay for it, right? So those are the things that you're really missing if you don't have any insight of what apps you're using,
Okay,
and that
fair
stacks
enough.
up.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. Ollie, as a product guy, what is your key feature? Where do you think this product shines from a product perspective?
the ease of use. Um, Obviously, we already have a little insights on how the platform works, what it looks like, and if I can and I've been going through it a lot already, and if I can compare it with different SaaS tools, comparable ones as well, then it is it's that easy. Like everyone will understand how Stackdeck works, and it will help you with everything. What I think is nice is that our goal is to become the first SaaS operating system, right, in the world that takes out all the inefficiency of SaaS. And I think it is exactly that what it does. So we're looking into all the things that Nick mentions, and that in combination with the ease of use, that is what our customers are gonna love about it.
Cool. Okay, thanks guys for introducing your key feature. For me, the key feature I think is um, so our software is built out of 4 pillars, right? So we have the discovery pillar, we have the security pillar, we have the insights pillar, and we have the finance pillar. And I think in every pillar we have a unique key. I'm not too keen on giving everything away in this podcast, otherwise it's going to be a very lengthy podcast because of the amount of features that we're having in our software. But I think um, the main thing that I like the most is the automatic on and offboarding of employees. Right, as soon as an employee gets registered in an HRIS system, we will pick that signal up and we will create an account for that user in our software, and we will even automatically onboard that user inside the software that our customer is using. But that's only the onboarding side. So the offboarding side might even be a little bit more important, because whenever that employee leaves, you want to revoke that access from that user. And for me, that's like something where Stackdeck just shines, basically. So yeah, I think that will be my key feature. So yeah, cool. Guys, for now, I think this is a perfect introduction of Stackdeck. I think it's a perfect introduction of what we're doing, what we're building. Obviously, we're launching on SaaS Stock Summit mid of October, right? So whoever wants to join us there, please come and see us. We're very keen to meet everybody over there. The next podcast will be all about news in the SaaS world, so whatever is going on in the SaaS world. So I love to see everybody in the next podcast. If you like this video, please, as we always have to say, give it a thumbs up and hit the like and subscribe button. But
I'm
no,
gonna need to
like
get
would be
used to
very,
that.
yeah, exactly. That phrase is like it's gonna get
Uh-huh.
very familiar. No, but everybody, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please do subscribe. It means a lot to us, especially since this is the very first podcast. So thanks, Nick. Thanks, Oliver. Thanks, myself. And I'll see everybody in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks,
See
guys.
ya.
See ya.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.